We've started recording. Hello, 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 hello.
Hello.
Hey, we're back with hot takes and
Heartbreaks.
We're back. We just did a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo in between that break time and now. So, how are you, co-host?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. Just entering this new topic of ours that we've discussed for today. So, how do you feel about this topic as a whole?
Well, we actually have talked about this a lot. We just never kind of put a title to it. Because we're always talking about heartbreaks and hot takes and, and things. I mean, we talk about a lot of stuff now that I think about it.
Yeah, we talk about too much.
But, you put your perspective, I put my perspective, and then, we usually come into an agreement, most of the times. And we have debates and, you name it and we do it.
Yeah. So I think let's start off with the whole heartbreak portion of it. So tell me your take on heartbreaks and we'll talk about that.
Well, heartbreaks is pretty much very broad. A lot of people, when you talk about heartbreak, right away they talk about or they think and feel, it's, about my boyfriend or my girlfriend, my husband, my wife. And actually it's not. You could be heartbroken by anything and everything. You could be heartbroken, because, somebody did something you didn't expect. They see it as disappointment, but it's really not disappointment. It's more like, a heartbroken. And for instance, I before I had, the Navy and my real estate world, and knowing that I was going to retire from the United States Navy, I was a little heartbroken because it was a change.
Yeah.
So it's a change I had to get used to. And I'm like, what am I going to do now with that time that I had before? So I was like, I know what I'm going to do. I am certified, service animal trainer. So I said, maybe I'll contact a company and get a puppy and train a puppy to be somebody's service animal. And I went through the entire process, got my application in, and Canine Companion accepted me. And 4 months later, I get the most cutest little puppy. Her name is Licorice. And, a month later, I realized that, that I was jumping into something too soon. I needed more time to adjust myself from no longer being in the Navy and starting my new civilian life to the point that I had to return the puppy. So now here I am brokenhearted, because it made me very sad to give the puppy back. And, it's been now a few days and I just want to call them and tell them, can you bring me the puppy back, please? But I know I can't because I still have the issue of getting used to the civilian world. And I have a lot of things going on and I will be doing actually a disservice.
Yeah.
For this animal and for someone that's going to have her eventually, than actually a service, which is what I wanted to do.
I feel like you didn't give yourself time at all because you're good at time managing and you're good at doing all that, but you jumped into something so quick that you didn't give yourself time to adjust at all. And typically you would have, but it wasn't something, I guess you were trying to find something to fill that void. But it was fun while it lasted. You had a good time.
And that's one of the mistakes that we make.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how old you are, you make that mistake because you think that, that one thing is going to replace another thing.
Yeah.
So and that's what usually you do. Instead of working through the issue and working through the heartache, what you do is you replace it with something positive without knowing that that positive thing you're replacing it might become another heartache that drives into a heartbreak. And that's where I am right now. I'm brokenhearted over a puppy. So it's not always, over a certain thing. It could be about anything.
But I think a lot of people are under the misconception that you have to accept accept the situation that happened to you, forgive the person or the thing that made it happen, and then forget about it, which is not true at all.
No, not well. I like to say, first of all, I'm not God to forgive.
Yeah.
Only God forgives. Forget. I don't think you ever forget.
Yeah.
I think what happens is that you ignore to act like you forgot, but eventually, in the long run, something will remind you.
It'll come back to you for sure.
Yeah, it always does. It never fails. At one point or another, it's there. It's still there because that's just the way the brain works.
It's just it's funny because there could be one catalyst that sets you back to that spot where you were, and now all of a sudden you remember something that you didn't think you'd ever remember, but you do. Yes. And that's just the way, like you said, that's the way the brain works. But it's kind of fascinating that that's how it happens, and it's just like anything.
Oh yeah.
Okay, side note, our EP is 4 years old and I just heard her squeal. So if you hear that, just ignore it.
It wasn't a cat.
Okay. Shh. EP. Okay, anyways. I think my problem is mentioning her.
Yes.
Okay.
I was just going to say that.
Anyways. So, now that we've kind of talked about that, are you ready to get into some hot takes?
Sure. Let's do it.
My first hot take, I'm pretty sure you don't agree with this, but we'll see. So my first hot take is, do you think perception in most cases is reality?
In most cases, it can be. It all depends on what it is, because sometimes, perception, to my understanding, is like assuming. And a lot of times, depending on the situation, the person, the timing, you may assume something that is actually reality.
Yeah.
So you were assuming it without knowing that it was true just because of the environment that you found yourself in. So, that's why they say, how the gut feeling and all that stuff. I think that's where that comes from. Whenever you have a gut feeling, they always say you should go by gut feeling because no matter what it is, probably 90% of the time you go, oh, man, I should have listened to my gut.
I didn't expect us to agree on that. Because I feel like perception is something that we struggle with as a society because we're so quick to just jump on any single train and just go with it. I feel like a lot of people don't take a second to go outside of what their perception
Well, that is a problem, and that's why I always say that you have people that are very unique.
Yeah.
You have to analyze and think before you act. And that because you can't perceive of something if you really didn't study the situation. A lot of people, create excuses instead of creating, solutions. And it comes from all that. And that's pretty much the majority of the people because I think that's the way they protect themselves.
Yeah, it is a coping mechanism.
Yeah,
I think that's
exactly. That's the better word.
Yeah, I think that's what it's perfect to describe it. It's a coping mechanism to be like, oh, this person is this, and they hang out with this, so they must be that.
Yep.
Which is not I personally don't know if I agree with that side of perception because you could be a completely different person. You don't have to be your crowd, although it's assumed of that, but you don't have to be who your crowd is.
Exactly. And that's, all these old sayings from way back when, even before I was born, tell me who you hang out with and I will tell you who you are. Don't judge a book by its cover and all that. Even though they all are realities, people don't really see them that way, even though they quote them.
Yeah.
They'll quote them and they're the first ones to perceive something that is not.
It
they're
goes
the
back to uniqueness that we talked about. A person can be so unique to the point that, yes, I hang out with this person and yes, I enjoy spending time with this person, but that doesn't mean that's who I am. Correct. That I don't identify with the type of person that this person is. I'm just saying this person because I don't have an exact example. But you don't have to be who your crowd is. You be the one that stands out.
No, and exactly, be an individual.
Yeah.
Be an individual. But in these days, it's very hard to be an individual.
Yeah.
Because
it's so easy to just be like everyone else.
When I was growing up, it's not like today. It's like today, everything is an issue. Everything is bullying. The way they pretty much handle all that, especially in the school system, is totally different from when I was growing up. I love seeing a person
at school who's an individual. I love seeing a person who just dresses the way they like to dress, especially because that's what I struggle with in school, dressing the way I like to dress. It like dressing the way that you like to dress, acting the way that you like to act. It's like just
That's why I don't understand why they took away uniforms.
Yeah.
Uniforms will actually help with self-esteem.
yeah.
Will help with self-esteem. Some people don't think so. And yes, it does help with self-esteem because everybody's dressed the same way.
I love a good uniform. Uniform looks so cute.
You're not giving grounds for anybody to make fun of anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Because most likely everybody's going to buy the uniform in the same place. Everybody's going to pay for the same amount of money on the uniforms, and that's the way it should be. That way, you keep it unified. And when you keep something unified, you don't give grounds for anybody to bully anybody. I mean, they'll probably find a different way.
Everyone finds a way, but it's not something like, oh yeah, your clothes is this, oh yeah, your shoes are that. Though probably shoes are the only thing that could be, but I don't think it should be. It's like,
no, because you could uniform that too. Is either white sneakers or black sneakers.
Yeah. There's
no high tops, no.
There's really no space for bullying when there's uniform. That's why I like uniform too. I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. Our next hot take is, do you think you can love someone even if you don't like them as a person?
Oh, heck yeah. I can give you a perfect example. I love my husband. I mean, he is amazing. And I wouldn't replace him for anyone. However, I don't like him.
Oh, God. Well, I think that's like, I mean, you've been married for what, 30 years?
Pretty much.
That's insane. I think that just happens when you grow older with a person. You're forced to like him in a way.
Well, yeah, but he gets on my nerves.
I mean,
so I don't like him.
I expect that from any partner. I think you could love someone and not like them. I agree with that.
And I could give you another perfect example. My son, one of the twins. I love him to death. I will give my life for him, but I don't like him because he's a lot like me.
Oh, good God.
So, a lot of the times, and I tell him all the time, I'm like, Jesus, I don't like you. Go away.
Dude. It's like, I feel like that goes so beyond that because let's say I love a friend and I love spending my time with them, but it's like, I don't like some of the things that you do. And I'm not saying that's going to push me away from you. I just simply don't agree with it. And that's okay. You don't have to agree with every single person that you hang around or talk to. It's just like, I love you and I love you as a person and I respect you so much. I just don't appreciate why you do this. I don't.
Yeah, because you have to accept people by who they are.
Yeah.
If you really appreciate them and, if you care for them.
You don't have to understand something, but you do have to respect it.
Exactly. So, and that's where, loving somebody and not liking them come in. Because, I have a friend that, I love him. He's been my friend for a very long time. But I don't like I don't like one thing about him. And what I don't like is his language.
Yeah.
But just because he has the foul language that he has doesn't make him a bad person.
No, absolutely not.
He's actually a very good person. He's actually professional. He's educated. He has a lot of positive things, and that's where it comes to. You put things in a balance. I've always told the kids, and I've told you many times.
Yeah.
You put things in a balance, and if whatever is bad, because nobody's perfect. None of us are
Absolutely
perfect.
Not.
Because they say even in the Bible that Jesus was supposed to be perfect, but in reality he wasn't. He was more perfect than we were, but there's no such thing. So you accept people by who they are, so you put everything in a balance. Now, if they have more negative things than positive things, then you let go, because you don't want toxic in your life.
That's just something you got to look out for.
Yeah, you don't want nothing negative in your life.
Yeah.
And if you can learn anything positive from them, you push them away. Those are people you don't want to deal with. You don't want to relate yourself with. However, if whatever it is that is negative, hides behind
there's
the
always
positive,
a balance in life. Always.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know what? Oh, I don't like that you're always burping, but, I could deal with it. Example.
Yeah. That's a good example. That's like a pet peeve, but
yeah, exactly.
It's fine. I'll because I love you and I respect you so much as a person, I am willing to put my pet peeve aside just for you.
Yeah, just accept when I say you picky you.
What?
If you burp, and especially if you don't say excuse me, I'm gonna say you piggy you.
I don't know what that. Oh,
I'm calling you a pig.
Oh. Okay. Anyway.
See, there goes the age gap. she says stuff that sometimes I'm like, English, please, English. And then
See,
I say stuff.
That was my English please
Yes,
moment.
yes.
I am so thirsty right now. Maybe it's the new cup. Guys, I got a new cup. She got me a new cup.
She got a Labubu cup. That's her early birthday present. That's because earlier I did something and I made her sad and brokenhearted. So I had to put a smile on her face. And I knew that her birthday present, by the way, is September 11th.
My Labubu obsession really overpowered every single thing that happened.
So I needed to put a smile on her face. So I gave her one of her birthday presents early.
She didn't need to. But here we are. All right, next one. I question the credibility of this, but I wonder if you do. Do you believe in the term, when you know, you know?
Yes.
You know, I don't.
You don't?
No, I don't.
Well, I think that's the age.
I don't. And this is why. So, when you know, you know. But sometimes when you think you know, you don't know. Because I remember, okay,
what?
Listen, I'm going to explain it. Give me a second. I feel like there's been certain situations where, for me, I'm just like, okay, the meaningless situationships that I've gotten into. When I'm like, oh, this person is really nice. Like, never had a boyfriend. But, like, you know, like, when this person gets introduced into my life, I'm like, okay, this person is really nice. I'm like, maybe this will end up somewhere. And then I start to talk to them more, and I'm like, oh, I know this is going to end somewhere. And then I don't know. So, like, that's why I'm like, sometimes when you think you know, you don't know. And I know many situations with other people who have, let's say, gotten married or even, like, got into a relationship. I'm like, they tell me, yeah, I know this person is the one for me. But then a few months, months, years later, they're like, yeah, I wasn't so sure anymore. Like,
well, I mean, I think that goes with everything, because sometimes you become friends with somebody who you think is going to always be there for you and is going to be like your best friend, and you're going to hang out.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then all of a sudden, next thing you feel like, wait a minute, you know, I'm getting now a different feeling and different vibe, you know, than what I got when we first met.
And that to me is the worst type of heartbreak.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you know, now you're like feeling down because you expected something. And I think that's where the when you know,
yeah,
moment of, you know, mistake, because you perceived something that is not.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel like
because
that just happens.
You wanted it so bad that it kind of like backfired.
Yeah.
You know.
But I feel like, yeah, friendship heartbreak to me is the worst type of heartbreak. Mm-hmm. Like, and that's because I've never experienced anything else other than other situations, of course. But, like, the one thing that's always stuck out to me is friendship heartbreak, because I've struggled with finding friends who, obviously I'm good now, but I've struggled with finding friends who actually, like, did amazing stuff for me and were just made an impact on my life. And I'm in a situation now where I'm so grateful for the people that I have in my life. But before, that wasn't always the case. And that's okay. I feel like that's what helped me become the person I am today and helped me create the character that I have today.
No, and that's with everything, you know. It's like you could have family members.
Yeah, family members.
You know, that you expect one thing from them and they're ungrateful, and they don't see they're, you know, being ungrateful because they think that just by saying thank you, they're grateful.
Actions.
And no, exactly. Actions speak louder than words, you know. And because I can say anything.
Yeah.
I can tell you an entire poem of beautiful things. But if the things that I do say the opposite, those words just went with the wind.
They were meaningless.
Yeah, they just went with the wind, and, you know, they meant nothing.
Words most of the time are just words. Because it's really, you have to show up for someone consistently. You have to just show them you care. I feel like that's one of my, like, I guess love languages is show up.
Yes.
It's not that hard. Just show up.
It's like, you know, I hate when, and mind you, I don't like that word. I think that word is an ugly word. But every now and again I say it, and it's because it's beyond not liking something. I will never use it, you know, towards a person. But, you know, your phone is always in your hand. And I'll send you a message or I'll call you. And then I get a message a few hours later or a day later. I'm sorry I didn't answer. I was busy.
Yeah.
Busy doing what? Yeah. When were you busy? You know, and then you're going to go say, oh, yeah, okay, you know, I miss you, by the way. Really? How do you miss
How
me
do you
if
miss me if I called you and you don't answer me? I will say though, I'm really bad at answering back text messages. I have almost 400 delivered text messages right now.
Okay.
It's really bad, but it's not like in a bad way, like, or malicious. I just sometimes forget to text back. It's just that's on me.
Okay, but I mean, that's really bad.
Yeah, it's
I
really
would never
bad.
said that, but that's really bad.
It's really bad.
But it's like you have to see who is that messaged you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty sure that your good friend from school, you answered her.
Oh, 100%.
I'm pretty sure you answered your mom, your grandma, and I know you answer me. So
I text you back instantly.
So it's like most likely the people that you haven't answered is because either you don't know what to say back, or it's not really that important, or you haven't gotten to, where...
Most of the time it's like, oh, I don't know what to answer this to yet, or if I'm busy, or if I'm doing something, I'm like, okay, well, I'll answer that in a second. But it's like I'm doing something and then I forget. But it's not like personal towards them. I'm just like busy.
It's, well, there goes that busy, word again.
Don't kill me for that. Don't kill me for that.
Because to me, especially these days, come on. You kids even go to the bathroom with your phone
24/7. I do agree
because
with that.
I've seen it. You guys even in the bathroom. I'm like, why are you going to the phone with the phone in the bathroom? Leave the phone on the table.
It's enrichment time.
It's like, no, go do your business, come back.
Enrichment time.
So that means you have time to answer the phone.
No, 100%. But anyways, next one. Do you believe that rejection is redirection?
Yeah. It's usually when people don't want to do something, they redirect. And it depends on the type of rejection too.
Yeah.
I mean, what type of rejection are you talking about?
It can be any type of rejection. Like, I don't know, rejection from a job, rejection from a school that you really want to get into, rejection from a relationship, rejection from I don't know, an internship, anything. Any type of rejection. Do you think that's redirection?
It is, because there's a path.
Yeah.
There's, everybody. I used to know this gentleman. His name is Andres. And I mean, I haven't heard from him in I don't know. I want to say 30 years or so. No, more than 30 years. Maybe 40 years. I haven't heard from him. But, well, maybe not that long. Anyways, a long time.
That's a big number.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. I got to do the math here. Yeah, that's wrong. But a long time.
We're not the best at math, guys. We've never been the best at math. Don't ask us for anything more than 20 times.
2 + 2.
Oh, okay. Well, you're selling yourself very short. Don't ask us for anything times 20 times 2.
But anyways, he used to always say that everybody knows the day they were born, and nobody knows the day you're gonna die. But you have like a Bible under your armpit, and it directs your entire path.
Yeah.
And you always will have 2 paths. And there's something in life that will happen to you that will redirect you.
100%.
It's usually a rejection.
Yeah.
So that's why they say, don't question it. Just follow the path. Because if you question it, sometimes that's when you trip and fall. And then you're like,
that is true.
Crap, I don't know why I did that. And it was because you were redirected and you didn't listen to that inner angel.
That gut feeling, like what we were talking about earlier.
Exactly.
I feel like rejection is kind of like the universe's way of telling you, like, don't go there. You're somewhere else.
It's like even
the bad angel
movies,
and the good angel type thing.
Exactly. And like in the movies, oh God, what's the name of this movie?
We never remember names of movies.
And even though I always have to use a movie or a song to put example of, so it's the movie that he is complaining about God, and he's driving down the road, and then there's like this sign, do not enter, and then there's another sign.
I saw this in Jane the Virgin. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
but I saw this in Jane the Virgin too.
Okay.
She did something like that where she was asking about Michael and how he was. Or actually, I'm not gonna say anymore because don't quote me on that. That might be wrong.
No, but this one, and then he keeps driving forward, and then boom, he crashes, and then he starts walking on water,
On water?
Yes. And then he's like, am I dead? And here comes God because he's complaining and say, God, why you do this? Why you do that?
I have no
And-
idea what movie you're talking
Oh
about.
my God. I can't remember the name of the movie. But if you guys remember the name of the
Is it
movie.
Bruce Almighty?
Yes. Oh my God.
Wait. I don't know why I had that flash in my head where I'm like, wait a second, this might be Bruce
He's like,
Almighty.
I sent you a whole bunch of hints and you didn't listen to any of them. That's so, the point behind that little, scenario there.
I need to watch that movie again.
Yeah, he was being redirected.
Yeah.
He was being redirected, but he didn't listen. He didn't look at the signs. He rejected every single sign. So rejection comes in different ways because even yourself, you can reject certain things yourself. Rejection doesn't have to come from something or someone. You could do it yourself.
That's true. I just feel like people like me, I don't know if you struggle with that too. I find it so hard to reject myself from things that I really want because I'm so stubborn. Like for example, like a school I want to go to, I'm like, I want to go here, I want to go here, I want to go here. Like that's it.
Well, that's the way it should be, And if you get yourself out of that path, I mean, you may get to where you want to go.
Or you may be
just
heartbroken.
It'll probably just take longer.
Yeah.
Or you may never do it because for whatever reason you allowed to redirect yourself because of rejection.
Yeah.
A rejection that somebody did to you or that you did to yourself, and it all goes back to, you have to balance that out. And
Rejection is so disappointing though.
yeah, it is.
It's very disappointing.
And most of the times when you're disappointed, that's when you make bad choices.
Yeah, because you kind of, not necessarily out of spite, but you kind of just act out of impulse to like try and, I guess, defend yourself or cope through what rejected you. I don't know if I'm making sense.
You are, because that comes with age.
Yeah.
You're never going to handle something the way I can handle it now.
Yeah.
Because most likely when I was 17, I handled it the same way or probably even worse.
Yeah.
But now that I'm older, I am able to analyze the situation more and be able to just maybe handle it better. Doesn't mean I'm going to handle it at 100% because there's no such thing.
No one really handles a situation at 100%.
Yeah,
like,
but it'll be better.
There's no textbook to how to handle certain situations.
Oh, there's no textbook for anything. There's instructions to put something together, but there's no instruction for life. Even though some people will say that that's not true. Some people will say, well, that's what you have the Bible for, but no, I don't think so.
No, I don't believe in that either. But, like, I believe in that saying, but I just don't think that it's, like, applicable to most situations.
Yep.
But, yeah. Okay. Anyways. Okay, interesting question. I've never asked you this before, but I need to know. Is there a celebrity couple that broke up that you're, like, heartbroken about?
Oh, my God, that's horrible. Because the answer is actually no.
What?
I mean, I don't see celebrities like that.
I infatuate myself with celebrities. Like, I have, like, periods of time where I'm obsessed with one show. I'm obsessed with another show. I'm obsessed with everything under the sun. Like,
and the thing is, like, because you really don't know them, and then I think that media exaggerates a lot of things.
Yeah.
But, like, I can't say that I admire or don't admire, but if I was to say that I may admire a couple, it will be, Will Smith and Jada Smith.
Yeah.
Just because, you really don't hear a lot of negatives about them. They've been married for a very long time.
Yeah.
And they, from what I can see, are outstanding people. Besides that, everybody else is like, I can't, everybody else, it's either, broken up or, on their fifth husband or wife.
Yeah.
I don't know because I don't follow, celebrities like that. I don't know any celebrities that I can actually recognize that have been married longer than William and Jada Smith.
It makes me sad because I looked up to J-Lo and Ben Affleck so much.
Oh, but I told you.
No, you told me that from the jump, but it's like, okay, their story was so epic, and I hate to use that word, but that's what it was. Like, that's the only description I have for it because, like, you can't tell me that it's not fate that you literally got together 20 years ago and then all of a sudden you're back together. Like, that relationship broke me because I was so convinced that they were going to be together forever and like that was their happily ever after, and she was settled and she looked so happy. I mean, but perception, I guess, is not reality.
Exactly. Because to me, if you were to tell me fate with J-Lo, to me it's Mark Anthony. Mark Anthony is the perfect husband for J-Lo. However, he's Puerto Rican, man. And New Yorican at that worst. And I'm sorry for those Ricans out there that may be offended right now.
You're one, so it's okay.
I am a Puerto Rican telling you that the one thing I don't care about Puerto Rican men is their macho crap. You know, it's no, dude. You don't own me. You're not my father. You know, you're my partner. You should be my best friend. And that's it. And I think, like I said before, you don't know because you only know about celebrity what goes on the news.
Yeah.
You really don't know what goes on in their life.
And
for
the
sure.
news didn't really help my delusions either because the news was like praise J-Lo and Ben Affleck, like perfect fairy tale. I remember buying this magazine that literally had J-Lo and Ben Affleck on it, and it said, and I quote, fairy tale wedding, fairy tale marriage. Like, what? Like, how do you get past an image like that? And that's such a hard image to uphold because you're being called a fairy tale marriage.
No, and the reason I think that J-Lo and Mark Anthony are like the perfect couple, if it wasn't for his macho attitude, is because, I mean, since as far I can remember, it kind of seems like a lot of her songs, even before they were married, it was like her flirting with him.
Yeah.
And a lot of his songs,
he mentions her in songs a lot.
Yes, he will flirt with her. You know,
it was like Morse code, like encrypted messages back and
their
forth.
chemistry together, it was amazing. Then they broke up, and what you could see in the media, especially the relationship with their children, they looked like friends. They looked like they got along well.
Yeah.
So what was the problem? You know, Jennifer is a very dependent, strong Puerto Rican woman. And then you have this macho Puerto Rican man, and that was the clash right there. Like me, I could never be with somebody like him because we will clash. We will kill each other.
Because you like, I feel like that's what you and J-Lo have in common. You guys are very strong-willed. I feel like she's very strong-willed too because
yes,
she has to be very strong-willed because putting up with a guy like that, like, I don't think I could do it.
Yeah. So, one of us will be in jail and the other one will be dead.
Oh, God. Do you believe that the first heartbreak you ever experienced was the catalyst to the person that you are today? I feel like I mentioned that. You don't know? Oh, okay. Hold on. Do you believe that your first heartbreak that you experienced, whether it's work-wise, on any single forefront, do you believe that was the catalyst for you to become the person that you are today?
Oh, yes.
Really?
Yes. Because my first heartbreak was from someone you would never expect.
Yeah. Silence, because I feel like my first heartbreak, I guess I don't know how to describe it at all. Because I feel like it's good and bad. Because a first heartbreak can push you to the dark side. First heartbreak can also push you to the better side, to become the better person.
It all depends on your character and your personality.
I will say, though, that my first heartbreak kind of made me darker, and then it went in, like, waves. I don't even know how to describe that. Like, it went in waves, and that's typically, like, I guess the grieving process that people like to call it. But it's normal. Is it normal? I feel like that's normal.
Yeah, it's pretty normal.
It's normal to become that type of person because what you went through, regardless of the situation, isn't easy. And if it touched you in any way, it's like your way of coping through that.
Well, and I was very young too.
Yeah.
So when you have such a heartbreak at a young age, that's when it's even worse. And it can redirect you into different ways. You know, because like my sister had the same heartbreak that I had, and her and I two different person because it made me stronger when it made her weaker.
Yeah.
So
it consumed her in a very different way.
yeah, so it all depends. It goes back to the person's character and their ambitions and their the way they think, the way they perceive themselves. It all depends on who you are and who you want to be.
I mean, like, yeah, I feel like that applies to a lot though, because yeah, it's horrible. Heartbreak is so bad. I don't wish heartbreak on anyone.
Yeah. No, and I mean, with that said, I mean, this is a topic that can go on and on and on and on, but we're pretty much coming up to the end of our podcast for today.
But we're so glad to be here with you guys today.
And our next podcast is going to be pretty cool because we're going to jump into the arts.
Yep, we got some pretty cool people that we discovered today. Pretty peculiar. Peculiar? Is that the word?
Pretty much introduced you guys to what I introduced her to liking the arts.
This guy's pretty cool. That's all I got to say.
Yep. And I guess we'll see you next time.
Ciao for now.
Yep.
My favorite cruise guy says that. Dr. E.